So what's in store on the men's side for Ottawa soccer fans? Well, 11 months ago, the Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group, OSEG, consisting of Roger Greenberg, John Ruddy, Bill Schenkman, Jeff Hunt, and myself, were awarded an expansion franchise for Ottawa in the North American Soccer League at Division 2, one rung below the MLS in the North American soccer pyramid. It's incredibly frustrating to have a franchise but have no stadium to play in. We pay fees, we vote at meetings, but we only get to watch. Hopefully that'll change soon. However, assuming there are no further legal delays or other major obstacles encountered, the timeline's still intact for the opening of the stadium at Lansdowne, the return of CFL football, and the launch of Ottawa's NASL soccer team in the spring or late spring of 2014. I think it's April 21st, if I remember right. We've watched with envy as the expansion San Antonio Scorpions took their field in the NASL this year, replacing the departing Montreal Impact. They too spent a bit of a frustrating year watching from the sidelines. However, with great skill and expertise, they used that year to engage their community. The fans helped choose the team name, choose the team colors, choose the logo, and made plans for a new stadium. After 4 home games, they're averaging close to $10,000 per game, and have moved into second place in the league. They've set the bar very high, but we're determined to bring entertaining, affordable, professional soccer to Ottawa in a destination setting at Lansdowne. There are graduates of the Fury Youth and PDL programs playing professionally around the world, and we're thrilled to watch. I'll dwell on that one because I know some of the players haven't actually seen the stadium, but one of the most iconic features of it is a new Southside stand that has a wooden slat sides to it, and that is taken across the World Heritage Rideau Canal at night. And I think anybody that's going to watch the World Cup in 2015, when they see that picture, will obviously remember that is in Ottawa. And that'll be a great thing for our city. So we're thrilled to watch these two guys and others, Eddie Edward on the left and Kenny Caceres on the right. Both of these kids came to us at 13 years old and are now playing professionally in the very league that we're going to go into for the Puerto Rico Islanders and for FC Edmonton. But clearly we're going to cherish the day when they and others have the opportunity to play for their hometown club. However, before all that happens, we've got a great season of PDL soccer ahead of us. Undoubtedly, the most successful men's head coach in the history of the club has been Steve O'Kane. The PDL is a very, very competitive league. 72 clubs this year, stretching from Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. Steve took us on a great ride in 2009, putting together an unbeaten 12-0-4 season. Only the 7th time a team had gone unbeaten in the history of the league. He took us to the Northeast Division title and to the playoffs for the first time. After stepping aside for personal reasons, we're delighted he's able to return to the helm, along with Jason Whiting and Mark Lapointe. We're in a tough division. New franchises, Boston, Connecticut, and Worcester, joining old foes from Vermont, Portland, Western Massachusetts, and Seacoast. The PDL is a development league. It's a great league for elite collegiate players to play at a high level without jeopardizing their college eligibility. More than 2/3 of the players in the last MLS Super Draft had played soccer in the PDL. The Montreal Impact picked up the #1 ranked Andrew Wenger via Reading United and via Duke University, and 6 players with PDL experience were among the top 10 picks. So in terms of North American soccer development leagues, this is the place, and hopefully this will be a stepping stone for many of the young male players in this room. I'll also mention that Chad Bush is also going to Duke University this year, and congratulations, that's an incredible opportunity. Another one of our youth players, and currently, are you 18 yet? No, 17. Doesn't matter how old you are, it's how good you are. However, every PDL team needs to continually rebuild each season, and this year is no exception for the Fury. So once again, we've drawn from some of the best talent from varsity programs all over North America and blended them in with some of the best talent from locally. We've had a good preseason. 7 unbeaten games, so we look forward with confidence to this week's game against the league leaders away in Seacoast in New Hampshire, and to the season as a whole. It gives me great pleasure to welcome back Fury men's head coach Steve O'Kane to introduce the 2012 PDL team.
Thanks, John. There we go. Thanks very much, John. I will try and keep it short and sweet because I can tell what my players are like by now, and they're all itching to get out of here, and they can't sit still. They'd rather be kicking a ball, and I'd rather be on the training pitch. I just want to say I'm thrilled to be back. I'd like to thank John and Graham for the introduction. The PDL is very personal to me, and it's something that I care very deeply about. When I had the opportunity to coach it again, it was a no-brainer decision. I have 2 kids at home, and the PDL feels like a third kid. So the last few years not being involved with my third kid was absolute agony. My wife basically pushed me to do it because she was sick. She was sick and tired of me sulking around when there was game days and I wasn't involved. So I'm ecstatic to be back. I want to thank my assistant coaches, Jason Whiting and Brian Chamney, for all the hard work they put in this year, getting us prepared for the season and recruiting. But first and foremost, I'd like to thank Mark Lapointe. Mark's the guy in the back there, standing, regretting his decision not to take a chair and sit down through this whole press conference. But Mark is every bit as involved in this as I am, if not more. I get to stand up and talk and say all the little blurb, but Mark is an integral part, and this would not happen, and you guys would not be in this room without him. So I just want to send a special thanks to him for his tremendous work. I believe what John's brought me in here to do is to learn how to win and to learn how to compete again. Each player that I've picked in this room has that ambition to win and has that ambition to learn and get better and to compete. Last night we had a game, Green Bibs versus Red Bibs. Green Bibs won about 70 minutes of the practice. Red Bibs won 0 minutes of the practice. Chris Banner's smiling at me in the back of the room because he was on the Green Bibs. The Red Bibs were absolutely devastated that they lost at the end of the session, and that is exactly the type of player that I want on this team, and it's exactly the type of attitude, and I was happy to see it. I let them yell and scream and fight with each other and have 50 million conversations after practice, and I was absolutely pleased, and I had a smile from ear to ear. That's exactly the type of player that we want to bring in here. I'm going to talk to my players very briefly. Everybody else, of course, can listen. What I joined the Fury for, and the very first thing that caught my attention was it says Elite Soccer underneath the badge here. I was coaching a team in Canada years ago, and the parents and the players I was with saw the Elite Soccer, and they thought it was arrogant, they thought it was cocky, and they thought it was smug. I myself had the complete opposite reaction to that. What this stands for to me is about confidence and about ambition. John's shown you the club's ambition by getting an NASL franchise, which 10 years ago I would have never fathomed, and I'm sure he'll be on his way to getting an MLS franchise. What it means for you boys is I bought in players who I believe can win, and I believe have that ambition in themselves to go further as a player and to go further and compete to win as a team. That's why each and every one of you are sitting in those chairs right now, and that's what I expect from you this year. So if you ever need to know why you're here, you can always look at the logo, because to me that's exactly what it means. I know you have Be Part of It, John, which is great for the media and for you guys, but for me it's about Elite Soccer. So I'll go through the players. I prepared about 17 pages on each player, Dom, but I'll try and keep it a little bit shorter so everybody can get out of here, and I know my guys are ready to get to those muffins in the back of the room. Alex Fay, if you could stand please. Alex Fay is a goalkeeper from Ottawa, Ontario. He goes to Sacred Heart University. It's a Division I school. Alex is a Fury youth graduate, a local player. I coached him in the Super Y League. He's won tremendous awards. He's been in all conference. He won the Sacred Heart Medal of Merit. Last year as a starter, he was 1 win and 2 ties, going undefeated. So Alex is a local guy we're ecstatic to have back. Alex is one of only 3 returning players. Nils Carlson, if you can stand please, Nils. Nils goes to Embry-Riddle University. He's from Västra, Sweden. Nils was an NAIL American as a freshman last year. Conference Defensive Player of the Year, 10 shutouts was a record, and he played previously the Swedish under-20 and under-19 national teams. Christopher Banner, he's from Clarendon, Jamaica, Sporting Central Academy. Christopher's from the Jamaican under-20, under-21 teams. This past year, he's been called into the full national camps as well. He played for Sporting Central in the Jamaican Premier League, which is a terrific standard. He's a fast, dynamic, exciting player that we're excited to have on board. Anthony DiBiase. He's from Richmond Hill, Ontario, Niagara University originally. Anthony's a former Fury player in 2007 with us. He went on to play for FC London, where he made all-conference. Went to Hamilton, led the team in assists, played pro with Harrisburg, USL. Anthony has an educated left foot. What that means is his brain isn't here, it's in his left foot. So Anthony's a tremendous addition to our team. Samith Al-Bassith, you can stand please, Samith. From Fort Lewis College in London, England. Samith was with the NCAA Division II national champions this past year. West Ham and Cardiff Academies, very technical, combative midfielder is how I'll put it for you, Samith. He likes to get in and get a bit of bite for us. Marcelo Castro, again, Sacred Heart University, Parana, Brazil. Marcelo was an NCAA Division I first-team All-American, two-time All-Conference Defensive Player of the Year. He's a physical defender. He's very Brazilian. He can win the ball and keep it too, so it's a perfect addition to our team. Jake Essie. Jake Essie is from Omaha, Nebraska, Hastings College. He's the 2010 NAI national champion. He's been a starter with the national championship team since day one. He's a very versatile player, speaks volumes for his ability. Eddie Campbell. He's from Montego Bay, Jamaica. He goes to Lindsey Wilson. He's the 2011 NAI national champion, which doesn't make Jake Essie very happy as he beat him in the final. Eddie has a big, fat national championship ring that makes my national championship ring look very cheap. I'll be going back to my athletic director to try and get one as big as him if you want to have a look. Eddie is represented Jamaica at the Pan Am National Games, and he was the all-tournament team this year with Lindsey Wilson. Miguel Jimenez. Miguel is from Madrid, Spain, Missouri Valley College. Miguel is an NAI All-American, All-Conference. He represented Real Madrid at the youth level, and he's a very smooth, skillful, extremely well-rounded midfield player for us. Will Boge. Will's not here today. He is no stranger to the Fury and the PDL. Will's been with the PDL for 5 years. Two-time All-Star, first-team PDL All-Star. He's our all-time leader in goals, assists. He was runner-up last year with Capital City in the CSL. All-Canadian with me at Algonquin, national champion 2006, etc., etc., etc. Will and I have a long history together, and we look to experience more success with each other. Carlo Basso. Carlo Basso is from Coquitlam, BC. He goes to Simon Fraser University. He's an NCAA Division II All-American. He just came through an undefeated season with Simon Fraser. They were ineligible for the playoffs, otherwise they would have given Sam's team a run for their money. But Carlo comes to us with a great pedigree, lovely finishing ability. Alex Rodriguez is not here today. He's sick. He's from Lufkin, Texas. Belhaven University, NAIA All-American in 2010, All-Conference player. He went to Tyler Junior College where he had an undefeated season. He's a dynamic player that we're ecstatic to have on board. Drew Becky, another player, is not here currently. He is from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. He goes to the University of Denver. He is a Canadian Olympic team member. They just played in the Olympic qualifying this past March. He's a U18, U20, U23 Canadian national team, first team all-conference, all-star. We're excited to have Drew on board. Michael Vickers. Michael Vickers is from Middlesbrough, England. He is previously from Nottingham Forest Academy where he grew up, played for Grimsby Town, played professionally in Australia, Kuwait of all places. He comes with a lot of experience and we're looking forward to getting him out on the pitch. Niall Crick. Niall Crick is from the University of Oklahoma Science and Arts, whatever that means. He's from Leith, Scotland. NAIA two-time All-American. He led the nation in assists. All-time leading assist leader at Oklahoma. He's a Hibernian youth team graduate as well. Joey Kewen. Joey's from London, Ontario, but I consider him a local boy. Joey is one of the 3 returning players from last year. He goes to Carleton University. We won't hold that against him. Last year he scored 3 goals in the PDL. He's a 2-time All-Canadian at Carleton and a 2-time OUA All-Star. Ian Greedy. Ian Greedy is from Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia. He goes to Cape Breton University. Ian was an All-Canadian player this year. He led Cape Breton to a bronze medal, their first medal ever in the Soccer Nationals. He's previously been at Bristol City and Sheffield United on trials, and Ian Greedy is perhaps one of the best names I've ever had for a striker. So that speaks to exactly the type of player he is. Thomas Beattie, he's from Hull, England. Previously from Limestone College. Tom has a list of a million things here. I'll try and keep it short. First team NAI All-American with Limestone, captain of FC London in the PDL, CSL Rookie of the Year with London City, and formerly from Hull City Academy. Peter Manginas. It's probably not the way you say it, Peter, but that's how I said it. Carleton University is from Belleville, Ontario. Peter is our 3rd returning player from last year, 4-year starter for Carleton University, 2-time OUA All-Star, captain. Carleton received their highest ranking this year of 2nd place. Last year he played over 1,000 minutes in the PDL. He brings a wealth of experience to us. Zach Drake. Zach is another Fury youth graduate from Ottawa, Ontario. He goes to Bethel College. All I'll say about Zach is I played against Zach 2 years ago. He probably forgets it. I was playing for a team called Linwood. He absolutely ran rings around me, which isn't saying much. I absolutely hated the entire 90 minutes, and I knew by the end of the game if I ever coached again, I would put Zach on my team. Sandro Rajkovic, Cape Breton University, Hamilton, Ontario. He's played in Croatia the last 2 years with teams I cannot pronounce the names for. I'm not even going to try. He played in German second division. Again, I can't pronounce the name of the team. And he helped Cape Breton to receive a bronze medal last year at Nationals. Bruno Moda, he's from, it says here, Guatemala City. He's also from Gatineau. He's a local player. Pick and choose which one you like. He went to La Cité Collegiale. All-Canadian, OCAA All-Star. When I used to coach Algonquin, we played La Cité, we'd hammer them 8 or 9-0 every time. He's absolutely turned that program around. They beat Algonquin on a regular basis. They make the playoffs. That's like Wigan making the Champions League, if any of you want to have something to relate it to. Fantastic, and as far as I'm concerned, he's the biggest part of that. Robbie Murphy, another local player from Ottawa, University of Guelph. I'll keep Robbie's list as short as possible. He's CIS Player of the Year, which I believe, I don't know any other player from Ottawa who's received that honor. All-Canadian, OUA All-Star. He also played in the World University Games. Fantastic striker, fantastic winger. Chad Bush. John stole my thunder with Chad. I was going to reveal the Duke University scholarship. John took that away from me. Thanks, John. Chad is a youth graduate from the Fury. He also was with TFC for, I believe, the last 3 years. He had a chance to sign professional and go to Duke. He signed with Duke, which I think is a great decision. It's a fantastic school, and that'll give him his pick of MLS teams. Troy Pennycook Morgan. Troy is also from Ottawa, Ontario. He's been with Sheffield United Academy the last 8 years. He's been to some Scandinavian teams, which, again, I will not even try to pronounce. He's currently with Eastwood Town before he came over here, which one of our former great players, Andrew Rigby, was with before he joined us. So that's your 2012 PDL side.
Peter, you're one of 3 returning players to the Fury this season. Talk about a little bit about your first year in the PDL last year here in Ottawa and what it means to you to come back for another kick at the can this year with the Fury.
Well, last year, as I guess everyone knows, it wasn't the greatest year for you guys, especially after the success you've had in past years. It was a great experience for me, though. It was my first year, first kick at the can. Good guys, great guys. We just didn't seem to bond early on and translated later in the season. To be back this year it's a great joy for me. I'm really happy to be back, especially after the year we had. You know, to have me back is an honor, honestly, and I hope to do better for you guys this year. Again, this year, you know, Steve at the helm, with the success he's had, I'm sure we'll do a lot better, and I'm sure everyone expects us to. But the guys are bonding on and off the field, so I'm looking forward to a great season.
It's only been a few weeks of training camp thus far, but what are your initial thoughts in the training environment that you've experienced under Stephen O'Kane?
To be honest, I've heard a lot of rumors about Steve. You know, oh, he's a great coach, this and that, blah blah blah. But honestly, everything's come through. His sessions are awesome. Probably some of the best sessions I've ever had. Very well organized. Practical, so I'm really looking forward to this season. It's only been 2 weeks, and still have 6 weeks to go, a couple months almost, plus playoffs hopefully. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's been good so far.
Can you tell us a bit about your expectations for the season, both from a team perspective as well as a personal one?
Team perspective, obviously playoffs are a major goal. Once we get there, anything can happen. Obviously, a championship is the ultimate goal, but baby steps first. We've got to make the playoffs, recover from that last year, and then we'll go from there. And I think we can go deep into the playoffs with the guys we have. Great talent on the squad, deep too. You know, guys that are going to be coming off the bench. We don't know who they are yet, but it's great talent. For me personally, hopefully I can make the starting 11, log in some good minutes, and help take the Fury to the championship.
Chad, you're one of the youngest members of the team this year. Talk about what it means to you to have an experience to play at the PDL level at such a young age.
Oh, of course, playing at such a high level at any age is a great accomplishment for any athlete, and you know, it'll be a great chance for me to gain more experience, learn from a bunch of older guys, a lot of experience there. So it'll be great for my development in the future years for sure.
You spent a few years with the Toronto FC Academy. Can you talk about how that experience, both in game situation as well as in the training environment, and how that might translate into success in the PDL for you this season?
Of course, at Toronto FC, we had a lot of high-level trainings, a lot of high-level coaching as well. So, you know, as a goalkeeper, they really picked out on a lot of little things, and which I think has upped my game a lot. There was also a lot of contact with the first team. We were able to, just get their experience from, their careers as well, which will hopefully translate into, me bringing that experience over to the team and, getting a few shutouts and nets for the Fury. Yeah.
It couldn't have been an easy decision for you trying to decide whether you sign professionally with Toronto FC or you take a scholarship to go the NCAA route, which you've opted to with Duke University. Can you explain, that thought process behind you and what led you to the ultimate decision of going to Duke?
Yeah, well, obviously, going pro is a dream of mine, but looking at it, from a practical point of view, you got to see coming in as a third-string goalkeeper, you won't be logging in many minutes, although it would be a great training environment to get better. But in terms of Duke, you get quite a high level as well. I have more chance of getting minutes there, of practicing my craft and mastering it, and also as it's a great academic. I want to stay on that route, get a good degree, and it really is just a different route into the MLS. There's a draft later on, or maybe go overseas, but I think it's the right decision for me, and stick by it for sure. Yeah.
Before you joined Toronto FC's academy, you'd spent several years in the Fury Youth Academy here in Ottawa. Can you tell us a bit about what this means to you now, getting to play for a club where you kind of first began in the youth academy level, and also where you've grown up, so you get to play in front of home fans?
Yeah, no, representing Ottawa is something I've always wanted to do. When I was with the academy, playing for the PDL was my dream. It was the biggest thing around, and I'm glad to be a part of it now, and I look forward to the season. Yeah.